Welcome to Spooky Fun Time, a show where comedians face their fears. Now, here's your host, Brent Reed.
All right. Gotta get the cum out of there.
Okay.
Welcome to Spooky Fun Time, a podcast where comedians face their fears. I'm Brent Reed with my lovely producer, Brandon Lejeune.
Hello.
Hey, baby, how are you?
Great. Feeling spooky.
Feeling spooky. I got a hell of a guest today, all the way from Nashville, Tennessee. Good friend of mine. We used to perform in the Southeast all the time. Now he's blowing up. He's featuring all over the country for Rodney Carrington. He's a paid regular at Zany's Nashville. My friend, Matt Taylor.
Hey,
baby.
What's up?
Welcome to Austin.
This is amazing. I love the place.
Yeah, pretty neat, right? We're at the Creek in the Cave in Austin, Texas. I'm excited you guys are in town. I saw you walk into the Creek in the Cave. I didn't even realize. I think you may have messaged me like a month ago or something.
Yeah.
And I forgot that you were going to be in town. I got genuinely excited when I saw you walk across the creek.
I know you were one of the people I was most excited to see.
Aw.
Like, once we locked eyes, I was like, "This is love. I love it."
Because we used to get paired together all the time at like Stand Up Live in Huntsville. Famously, yeah, I should have mentioned one of Matt's credits is he opened for TK Kirkland.
No.
You want to talk about that? Should we talk shit about a comic?
Fuck him, dude.
We opened for.
I mean, unless he's watching. In that case,
dude,
I had the time of my life opening.
Right,
for him.
we had so much fun opening for TK Kirkland. He is a very funny black comic, and he requests two nerdy white guys. He's dirty, but he requests two nerdy white guys to work clean before him.
Yeah,
and then he just shit all over.
Not
us.
even just clean. Like, also don't talk about relationships. It's like, be clean, and then don't talk about anything that you've ever written.
Yeah, exactly. He wanted you to be. He wanted us to be not funny, is what it was. And then he wanted to crush and then like make fun of it. He said when I got off stage, he was like, "Yeah, that guy's gonna be famous for shooting up this comedy club."
Wow, original riff. White guy shooter.
Yeah, and he was real weird about his intro. He didn't come in the green room at all. He just like stood in the back, and when I introed him, he slowly walked around the entire club, and like it was the longest I've ever stood on stage after introducing somebody.
Yeah, so he was at Zany's the night before, and I had to bring him up. I had to call his name 3 times, like the fucking boogeyman. I was like, am I bringing up Beetlejuice? Like, what's going on? I had to call his name 3 times, and like finally I'm about to like, I tell the crowd, like, let me go check the green room, see where he's at, and he'll be right out. And as soon as I do that, he's walking through the back of the room, smoking a cigar, and he gets up on stage. He goes, nah, that intro was bullshit. He's like, he's about to have to bring me up again. We ain't doing that. And then I had to bring him up again.
How many times did you do his
intro? 4 times.
I remember his intro being pretty long. I just read it off my phone. The motherfucker didn't look at me anyway. I nailed it, but he didn't know I was just like reading it off my phone. But he didn't look up at me as he was like walking around.
No, I legit nailed his intro the first time around.
Oh,
was,
yeah,
like,
you probably
clapping and everybody's like looking around, like looking at the door for him to come out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The worst.
More like TK Jerkland. This dude's a jerk.
I have it.
Comedy.
He's in my bio. It's like Brent has opened for guys. I have him on there. TK.
Oh
Kirkland.
man, you list him as a credit?
Yeah, because it's funny to me. He's like, I don't know.
He's like a conversation piece, though. I mean, I can't be mad because he gave me a great story.
Yeah, exactly. And look at us now. We've made it so far.
Talking through our traumas.
Yeah, you're featuring at fucking theaters now. Fuck that guy.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
All right, let's get into spooky fun time. Do you like horror movies?
I don't know. It depends.
It depends on
if it's about like, I think this is a common theme though. Probably it's about like demons and satanic shit. I'm like, I'm gonna probably stay away from that.
Yeah. So you're
that creeping into my psyche.
Right. So you're religious.
Yes.
Gotcha. Yeah. I like interviewing religious, because a lot of people have that same thing. Like they don't fuck with the decision. Have you watched like an Exorcist or a Conjuring?
Yeah, I watched The Exorcist when I was way too young.
Yeah, that fucked you up.
5 years old. Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of people. Did that one scare you when you were a kid?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah. What do you like any of them? Are there any that you really like? Do you like a killer? Do you like something that's tangible, like
I mean, like Scary Movie when it came out, or not Scary Movie, Scream when it came out.
Yeah.
Scary Movie was scary as hell, dude. Scream was, that was like right when I was kind of getting into the teen years, so that was fun.
I scream a lot because it's funny and self-aware.
Yes.
And scary. I don't like Scary Movie as much. The first 3 Scary Movies were good, but they were like making fun of something that was already making fun of horror movies.
Yeah.
Like, Scream is already meta or whatever. Well, how old were you? So you were 5 when you saw The Exorcist?
Something like right around that age. Yeah.
Did you see the whole thing? Like you saw her fucking herself with the crucifix and shit?
We watched it at my grandparents' house, and they let us watch The Exorcist. Yeah, it was. It's actually explaining a lot now. Yeah.
So your grandparents, were they religious?
Yes. Yeah.
But they like a horror
they
movie.
Just like, let's put this movie in, and we watched that. Chucky. I mean, Jake watched Chucky when he was like 2.
Jake's your brother?
My older brother. Yeah. Sorry. And was horrified of Chucky until like 12. So like now we've got him like Chucky dolls and stuff, just because it was so funny how scared he was. But like you look back, you're like, yeah, he watched it at 2.
Right.
Kids don't know that's not real at 2.
You can't. You gotta. I think so. I'm super into horror movies, but I got into things like Goosebumps first, and Are You Afraid of the Dark, and what was that? Erie, Indiana. Shit like that is like a good. Did you ever watch those on? I think Nickelodeon had Erie, Indiana, and Are You Afraid of the Dark? And
Tales from the Crypt.
Yeah, shit like that. I feel like introduces kids into horror without fucking them up forever. Like if you show a kid It when he's 6, he'll probably never watch another horror movie again.
Tales from the Crypt was definitely not a kid's show.
No, it was genuinely. I mean, none of those. All those were pretty creepy. Are You Afraid of the Dark?
Goosebumps was, and Are You Afraid of the Dark was.
If you go back and watch Goosebumps, it's pretty bad for the most part.
Really?
It's not. It's very kid friendly. But it was scary. Like the Mask one was scary. There was a werewolf at Fever Swamp that's scary. I think that I've been watching Erie, Indiana recently. Did you ever watch that growing up? It was in the 90s. It was like it may have been late 80s. It was before Are You Afraid of the Dark or Goosebumps, and it's like. He moves to this weird town. There's weird shit. Episode 1, there's this like housewife that has these 2 twin boys, and they like do this research. Like these 2 twin boys, they look 12, but they're actually 30. And she's been she's like going house to house to sell this Tupperware container. She was like, it'll keep things good forever. So she's been
keeping them in that Tupperware.
She's been keeping her kids in this fucking Tupperware, and they don't age.
That's a good plug.
And then she says this whole thing like if you leave the lid off, if you don't seal it tight, it progresses aging. So at the end, he saves those 2 boys. They're like, "Thank you so much," and then they pop the top open on their mom. It's pretty fucking dark.
Wow.
And then they all hyper age. So then they go back to the house, and the twins are like 30 years old.
Dang.
Yeah, it was. I just watched that one the other night, but like shit like that. I feel like
Dan Snyder wrote that one.
Exactly.
Keep them young, baby.
I have a Good Burger poster on my wall with Dan Snyder's name on it. I don't know if I should take it off or not.
I have I have a Nickelodeon hoodie and like one of my favorite hoodies and like a Nickelodeon shirt. That I'm like, I can't even wear this anymore.
Do you not wear them anymore?
Not in public?
Yeah, I guess you can't. A lot of bad shit happened.
I mean, I've got one that's just that giant orange jizz stain with Nickelodeon written in it.
Did you watch the documentary?
Yes.
Pretty wild,
yeah,
huh?
That's a scary movie right there.
Yeah.
For Drake.
What was wild was Dan Snyder wasn't like by far not the worst person on the set. And
it seemed like they kept trying to paint him, and I'm like, yeah, he's a creepy dude, but let's talk about Mr. Peck over here.
Dude, exactly. Fucking, the Peck guy, the Drake Bell.
Yeah,
that was so funny to me. It's not funny. It's very dark, but the whole I feel like those women that were talking about Dan Snyder kind of took away from like Drake Bell, because like Drake Bell's like, yeah, this guy fucked me.
Yeah,
and then this girl's like, yeah, but Dan Snyder made me eat 2 pints of ice cream and didn't pay me $50.
That is so true.
And Drake Bell's like, this guy.
I just want to reiterate, he fucked me in every way imaginable.
Yeah, that's what he said. He was
and
like,
everybody rallied against me.
Yeah.
Yeah, and she's like, he looked at our feet and made us squish through slime. It was embarrassing.
She's like, that was awful for me. He's a bad person. Drake Bell's like, yeah, that guy had sex with me.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was.
And I just want to reiterate, as a child. So I don't know if that's getting through. I don't know why I'm on episode 4 and then just kind of not there again. But
yeah, the first 2 episodes were all about Dan Snyder. That was, I mean, he was an asshole. Like, and he was
being
creepy.
Dan Snyder watching that.
Yeah. Yeah, that'd be a bummer.
Yeah. Like, this is me as Dan Snyder watching. Fuck.
He's probably fine. Like, he's gonna. I mean, I don't think he'll have a comeback or anything. But as far as financially goes, hey, he'll probably be fine, which is a bummer.
Yeah, I don't think they're taking his money.
No, he's written so much stuff. Like Good Burger, he did the Amanda Show was hilarious.
Yeah.
A lot of bad stuff happening behind the scenes.
Pretty crazy.
Pretty wild. All right, enough of the molestation stuff. So you're religious. Do you believe in ghosts?
No.
No, but you do believe in like possessions and things like that.
Yeah.
Have you ever heard of a?
I don't know, because I guess I believe like in spirits, and essentially spirits are ghosts, trapped spirits. And
yeah. Do you think they leave like they can? There's like an in between. So you don't think that like maybe some of them are stuck, or that there could be like a ghost, like a Sunset Strip down the street is supposed to be haunted. You've never had like a weird feeling, or like have you been somewhere that was supposed to be haunted?
Yeah, I mean, hell, a lot of these theaters. I mean, one of them, all like the
you guys are
electrical things just
exclusively
started going crazy, and there's like a theater built in 19. Oh God, yeah. All right, maybe I do believe in ghosts.
Oh yeah, hit me.
So the first theater gig I ever did was in Lawrenceburg or Lawrence County in Tennessee.
This was Carrington?
No, this was just for like some charity event. It was
Okay.
like a 2,000 seat theater, but only like 50 people came, so it was horrible. But but thank you for the opportunity. And I'm back there like in this changing room, and I very audibly hear somebody just go, "Hey." And I like turn around and nobody's there, so then I start checking every room, and it's just me up there. And I mean, it was like somebody said, "Hey," like right there. So then like I go like to the other room where like somebody else is changing, like way down the way. I'm like, "Hey, did you come in the room and like say something to me?"
Yeah.
And they're like, "No." And there's like no way they could have gotten back to their room in that amount of time, because I immediately like jumped up and was just like just sitting there just getting ready, like putting on a shirt, and someone's like, "Hey."
Yeah, that's unsettling.
And so in my mind I was like, maybe like the sound traveled or something.
Right, you're trying to
but
justify it.
it was kind of sent chills up my spine. But then the theaters we're in, a couple of them will like start glitching out of nowhere, and like lights will flicker and things will like kind of
this stuff interests me, but I don't I mean, I'm starting to believe in it doing this podcast. I'm hearing all these stories, and people just like that I really trust be like, well, I had this weird fucking experience. It's like, well, what else could that have fucking been?
I don't know, it could just be a sinner that died and is stuck in purgatory, He's like, "Hey,
oh yeah, what is it? Just Christian? What denomination?
Buddhist." We hate
sense.
ghosts.
You got the same hair.
Yeah, Christian.
Christian?
Yeah, it's nice.
So what denomination? Baptist?
Non-denomination. So Southern Baptist.
Ooh, Southern Baptist. So did you like big? We're talking these big expensive churches with like guitars.
Initially,
and shit?
yeah, I went to World Outreach in Murfreesboro.
Yeah.
Is like one of the bigger ones. I went there for not like my whole childhood, pretty much, and then stopped going for a long time. And then kind of went back on my own without anybody
In your
to
20s?
a different church.
In your
In my 30s.
In your okay, but
So-
your 20s you weren't really going to church.
No. I was.
What?
ripping
Why
it
is
away.
that?
Just got away from it.
Figured it
Kind
out.
of just partying, having
Partying
the time
and
of my
stuff.
life. And
Yeah. Did you? Do you
it's-
feel like you got it out of your system, the partying?
yeah.
Nice.
Probably about right at like 30.
Gotcha.
Like
How
I
old
still
are you?
drink and have a good time, but
What year were you born?
87, so
87.
36.
Okay, gotcha. I'm 31.
They
And
put they put me in that Tupperware and I aged gracefully,
you do look great.
Yeah, they'll peel it off.
Murfreesboro is where you grew up?
Murfreesboro, yeah.
Gotcha.
It's the geographical center of Tennessee and home of the world's largest cedar bucket.
Cedar bucket?
Yeah.
What the fuck is a cedar bucket?
Like a giant wooden bucket made of cedar.
it's just
huge.
a big ass bucket?
Yeah.
What's
dude,
what's
Bucket
its
City.
function?
I don't know. Right now, just being in a cage. Yeah, see? There it is.
Oh, there's
Bucket
that
City,
boy.
baby.
1,556 imperial gallons. What's an imperial gallon, Brandon?
Couldn't tell you. Don't know enough about my city.
Because, how far away is this from Nashville? I've never been there.
30 minutes.
30 minutes.
You've been there.
Yeah, I've
You
been
did-
there. I
yeah.
just couldn't remember the
It's the same thing as a gallon. It just
Okay.
was originally an imperial gallon, now called a gallon.
So did you
Fucking
stay?
British.
Did you just live in the same spot growing up? Did y'all? Move
Yeah, I mean, I
around?
was born in Tuscaloosa and then moved when I was 2 to
Oh, you were born in
Murfreesboro.
Tuscaloosa, Alabama.
Mhm. Yeah, Northport.
So same house growing up. Was it an old house or did you guys build it?
It was a newer house when we moved in, and then we moved to like a brand new house when I was like 9. So,
Java basement.
No basement.
Did you
Those
have-
houses weren't haunted. They were all.
Did you have any room? I mean, even though it wasn't haunted, did you have any rooms that you avoided that creeped you out?
No, but the house my parents live in now, the farm, there was like a painter or something upstairs. Yeah, I guess I do have some story. All right, cool. So there was a painter upstairs that just like left and like
Yeah.
never like wouldn't finish it. And when the people like the people before us asked him, they're like, well, why did this dude bail? He's like talking about he saw some guy like in like I don't know, like war regalia or whatever it's called, like in his war costume, just like standing in the bonus room upstairs.
Oh shit!
And he just left, and like the painter never came back, and they had to get like another person to come and finish it.
That's
And,
pretty neat.
Kirk, neighbors, Fiona knows him, but he was upstairs, and his 2 girls were they're like our family friends were upstairs playing, and he comes down like with both of them in both arms, like white as a ghost, and said that he saw like something run across that bonus room or whatever, and didn't come back to the house for a long. Now we make fun of him because nobody saw it. We're just like, oh, did you see a ghost? Did you? Like he literally came down like sweating and white as a ghost. Like was like got his wife. Was like, we gotta go. We're leaving. We're not staying here.
Maybe I've never seen shit like that. Maybe there's
neither.
something to like being open to it, or I'm wondering if doing this podcast is gonna make me open to more things, and I'm
want
gonna
that.
see some shit. Yeah,
Yeah, I don't know.
I might have fucked you.
You know what movie really got me?
What's
when I
that?
was younger was 13 Ghosts.
Oh, that's you're the second one to bring that movie up. Fucking loved that movie growing up. I
Great.
like all the different characters. What scared you about it?
The characters. I mean, that Juggernaut guy and the lady with her head in a cage or guy, whatever. that thing was.
Jackal.
Yes.
Jackal was the scary. Yeah, because he was fast. He could chase
Yeah.
you and like scratch your back and shit. He was scary.
I mean, now you put it that way.
Yeah, that sounds kind of
He
cute.
can, he can chase you,
Well, he
scratch your back, give
jumps
you a
on
hug.
somebody's back and just like claws the fuck
Yeah.
out of him. He was gnarly.
And then Juggernaut just like crushed that dude in a car. I'm like, well, I don't want to ever be in a junkyard at night, you know? Like,
yeah. 13 Ghosts is a good one.
it is. The house was like a mansion, but it was also like a paranormal maze.
Yeah, I
thing.
feel like that movie was ahead of its time. Was that a remake of a super old one?
I don't know.
13 Ghosts is good.
Matthew Lillard, right?
Yeah, Matthew
In
Lillard.
his
He's
prime.
he's kind of a Scream kid. He was in the first Scream. He
It's a remake of a 1960s version.
I've never seen that one. That would be interesting.
Oh,
to
Tony
watch.
Shalhoub. That's right.
Yeah, Lillard's great. Scream. He was in the new Five Nights at Freddy's movie.
Is that like the Mickey Mouse
Shaggy.
or like Chuck E. Cheese kind of
Yeah,
thing?
yeah, where it's like
I haven't
all the
watched
dude.
it.
It's fucked up. All these. It's a video game franchise, but it's these animatronics like at a Chuck E. Cheese, and they're possessed by the ghosts of these dead children that were murdered by the Yellow Bunny. There's like a Yellow Bunny, and he was an actual bad person. All the other ones are like just kids trapped.
Huh.
And they're like actually they're these robots that are actually possessed by ghosts. And one of the ways they kill you is they try to shove you into one of those animatronics, and they got like a bunch of spinning gears and shit. It's like a
Oh.
kid's video game. My little like 6-year-old nephew is a fan of this shit because they look adorable. They're kind of spooky, but they look adorable and like kind of scary. Five Nights at Freddy's
Ewoks.
may be a good segue for kids to get into horror shit.
Like it's not too.
It's not too bad, but it does have dark like shit. Like
Yeah.
it is scary, and the idea of death and shit. So I guess, like, did you even know what death was when you saw The Exorcist?
No, yeah.
Yeah, like that got to be a lot of. I was listening to Tony Hinchcliffe on the Undertaker's podcast.
Oh, wow.
And he was talking about how The Undertaker was his intro into what death was.
Oh,
He's like, I
nice.
didn't know what death was until they're talking about, like, The Undertaker, like, dying and coming back to life, like, 3 times. He's like, wait, you can die? Oh, wait, they're burying this guy? And they what's that? Okay, that's a tombstone. Okay, so
Yeah.
all those tombstones that I see driving by, those are all dead people. So he, like, learned about death from The Undertaker.
That's hilarious. I don't know the first time I like recognized death.
Yeah, me neither. I mean, I guess growing up in church, it's pretty talked about.
Yeah.
They're automatic because it's all about where you're going when you die.
Yeah, that's true. But
you-
I also feel like the first time it became real was probably like one of our animals, our pets dying. And
Yeah.
it's like, that can happen to me. I can also get hit by a car and pass away.
Fuck.
Oh, no.
Did you, now, being religious for a long time, did it start? A lot of people, you've probably heard the term fire insurance tossed around in church. Have you ever heard that? Like, some people get into religion just because they don't want to go to hell. Like, it
Oh,
starts out
yeah.
as just a fear of going to hell. And then
Yeah.
you end up with a personal relationship with whatever.
Yeah, it's tough. I mean, because a lot of your prayers are like, God, please don't. Please don't let this happen. Don't let that, like it's, yeah, fire insurance. I mean, it's,
Do you try to, I mean, I guess now, do you try to pray even when something bad is happening? Because I find I'm not religious, but if
Yeah,
something real
no.
bad is happening,
Yeah. No,
I get
I mean-
religious real fast.
just like, yeah, no, it's quick to be like, God, please.
Please,
Please, God, no.
just let me remember. Oh, this is. I just remembered. You busted my balls that you've been here, but I fucked up your last name, TK.
Oh, you didn't
Kirkland.
fuck it up. You just
I
didn't
just
say
forgot
it.
it. Brandon, when I introduced him, when we were opening for TK Kirkland, he was featuring and I was opening. Matt and I have been friends for 2 years at this point. I was like nervous or whatever. I was like, "You guys ready for your feature comic from Nashville, Tennessee? Give it up for Matt." And he got on stage. He was like, "I've known Brent for 2 years. We've been friends for 2 years."
That's hilarious. It makes such an awkward void when there's no last name.
Yeah.
Even if the comic just goes by a first name, everyone's kind of like, "Where's
waiting
the rest
for
of-"
the
yeah.
last
Yeah, I was
name.
like,
It's just a
that's
weird
right, give it up
cadence.
for me, comedian Matt.
Matt the comedian.
Matt the comedian. Oh, yeah. So, yeah, I mean, I try and be very cognizant of, like, the good and the bad, because it's easy to pray when shit's
Yeah.
going awry.
For
and it's
sure.
hard to, I don't know, be aware of, like, hey, this is good. It's almost, like, just to express gratitude in general, I think is a good thing.
Yeah.
Even if you don't believe
Right.
in any higher existence or power,
Yeah.
just to be like, take this moment to, but it's also like, if you are expressing gratitude, what are you expressing it to? If you're like, thank you for this club for booking me. So is that like where your gratitude goes to the club, or does it still go to something?
Right. I think with me, I do feel like I'm leaning more towards spiritual these days. I do the meditation stuff, and I do feel like people are all connected. I think we're all connected in some way. I don't
Yeah,
know
there's
how-
something there.
I'm okay. I don't know, and I guess I'm just okay with not knowing. I get uncomfortable around people that are just like, this is it, and I know for a fact this is it.
Yeah.
I guess
mean,
that's what faith is, right?
Yeah, it's just blind faith. I mean, you have to trust that, there's something
Yeah.
bigger than you that's kind of controlling a narrative that you don't understand, which, like we were talking about last night, like there's so many things that you can control, and then there's things that are completely out of your hands. And, like sometimes things that line up and you're like, not even coincidentally, but like you see things, you're like,
Yeah.
that's
It
that's
is-
where I'm like, oh, those are God moments where like you can't really explain them, and if you try to explain them to somebody else, they'd be like, I guess that's
Yeah.
weird, but
Well, the whole thing is like, I guess there's a little bit. I guess what the part that makes me, I don't know if uncomfortable is the right word, but I don't know. I guess I'm just content with not know it. And I think that if there is something that there's, and then I think the Bible even talks about this a lot, is like we're not going to 100% understand it until we're dead.
Right.
You know? That's also a crazy thought, is like when you die, you're just going to be overloaded with all this information.
Yeah.
Like you're just like, oh.
That's why I saw Exorcist at 5.
Ooh, I don't know if you want to talk about it. Have you ever done psychedelics?
Just shrooms.
Just shrooms?
Shrooms and acid, but never like ayahuasca or
Did you
DMT.
do a lot? Did you have a spiritual experience? Have you ever had a bad trip?
I will say, sorry, I keep pointing at Fiona.
Oh, yeah,
She's
you're
in- I
fine.
don't- she's
Fiona
probably
Colley,
not-
she'll be
yeah.
on the next episode. Not Callie, Colley.
I've had horrible experiences on shrooms. On acid, I've literally just geeked and had like tracers and like just kind of perception changes. But shrooms, the first time I ever did it was at a house party, and it wasn't even a house party. It was like just a couple of us were supposed to have fun.
How old were you, think?
20, 21, 22.
Okay. Yeah,
something.
yeah.
I can't remember when I was in that house, but
Right.
it was also a party house. But that night, like, it was just supposed to be chill.
Mm-hmm.
It ends up being, like, one person shows up. And we're like, all right. Hey. Another person shows up, like, oh, okay. Then, like, within an hour and a half, there's, like, 80 to 100 people.
And you're on.
It's a full-blown party.
And you're on mushrooms at this point?
on shrooms,
That's
yeah.
a nightmare.
And the cops get called in the house because we're, like, right on this main street.
Yeah.
And I'm the one that ends up having to talk to the cops, like, while peeking. Sorry, I'm just like reliving it right now.
Flashbacks.
Well, I just remember, like, you know, like everything's wavy and changing and breathing.
What was that conversation with the police officer like? Were you
I
scared?
don't really remember. I just remember crushing it. But
on the inside,
so
you're like,
I was
freaking
known
out?
as like the guy that cried at the party because after I get done talking to the officer and like shut the door, I realized that like I survived it. Or it's a very like in the moment, I'm like, this is it. I'm gonna get arrested. I'm going to jail.
Yeah.
And like as soon as I shut the door, like I turn around because he's like, you got to kick everybody out. So I turn around, I'm like, all right, like just loud and mean. I'm like, everybody's got to get the fuck out, and started crying.
He started
and just ran
breaking down.
upstairs. And everybody,
That was a lot.
Yeah, it was too much. And then one of the other times was at Bonnaroo.
That's where acid lives.
Yeah, and then like I remember that night, like just kind of like it was still hidden, and I laid down and saw all these geometric patterns and stuff. But the one that I saw the most, I now see everywhere, and which is like I see it on all these places. I'm like, oh, and I don't know what the shape pattern is, and nobody can tell me.
Yeah.
But I saw it like in like a different kind of dimension. You know, like I see it here, but it's not like how I saw it that night.
Yeah.
And it's crazy, like it'll creep into like my life. Like the medication I was on, like the symbol was that geometric sign or whatever. And like it's always into like these little things in my life ever since I've noticed it.
Weird.
Very weird.
What do you think that is? Do you
I
have
don't
any
know.
theories?
I'm trying to find out what that symbol is.
Yeah.
And I look up like, what's it called? Like sacred geometry. And I can't really find anything like it. So that's how I would explain it, is like a sacred geometric pattern.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know what it's like a Y shape, but then like another Y shape in the Y shape. I don't know. It's weird.
I told this story before, but last year the move here was pretty rough for me. Like just leaving my support system behind, and
Yeah.
I deal with some depression stuff. I'm underselling. I deal with pretty bad depression, and when I first moved here, you know, you leave when you move across the country and leave all your friends and family behind, that's not how you cure depression. It kind of like makes it worse.
Yeah.
So, and I didn't have insurance at the time. I did 5 grams of mushrooms by myself.
God dang.
Because I looked up, it's like a hero's dose, and it can like pull you out of depression. It was a lot. My roommate left. He actually went and tripped somewhere else. He actually went out in nature. He went to the Big Bend.
Yeah. Oh,
I
okay.
stayed at the apartment, and I was on an air mattress at the time. I did 5 grams. I ate them on a peanut butter and jelly sandwich.
That is a dry sandwich.
Oh, dude, it was the driest sandwich. I ended up getting sick. I don't think I chewed them up enough. I ended up getting sick. But I was like just kind of wandering around my apartment. Then I would lay down on my air mattress and like I felt like I was jumping to different dimensions, kind of like experiencing different things, but my body was there and I would like jump to different dimensions, and it would every once in a while I'd come back to like the air mattress and I'd be like, man, this one sucks. It's like, this one's bad. I'd take me back. And I remember at one point I was somewhere else, like my mind was somewhere else, and I heard this noise and it was repetitive, and I was like, that's fucking annoying. What is that noise? Matt, I realized it was me out loud going, Brent.
Oh my God.
I didn't recognize my name or my voice.
Golly.
Afterwards, I got really emotional afterwards and was just kind of like it was really intense. I got sick and like threw up, came back, and then started to come down. And then that was just, I realized like, oh, you're sad because you left I left Elliot, like my best friend. I was like dating a girl at the time, and we would have still been I don't know if it'd still be together now, but we would have definitely still been together then had I not moved. And it was just like all that kind of hit me. I was like, oh, it helped me process that. I mean, it sounds really obvious and dumb, but I was like, oh, you're just sad because of the like it makes sense.
You've had
why
a lot
you're
of things
sad.
that would make you sad.
And you're on an air mattress. So then like right after that was what I was like, really, I was like, okay, I got to get I'm not going to be a famous comedian right now. I need to get a day job and get happy outside of comedy.
Did you have expectations coming out here that weren't met immediately, or?
I don't know. I out loud, like if you had asked me, I think my expectations were realistic. But I think there was a part of me that just thought I was gonna, and I'm not doing bad, but part of me I think did think I was just gonna absolutely, like, it was all my dreams are gonna come true when I got here. Yeah. So you just get on Kill Tony, you get famous, but it's just been a slower process. And like I'm only been here a year, so it's been good. Yeah. But yeah, I think I did have some expectations. Like deep down, I did think I was gonna just like my life was gonna be completely different.
Yeah, and that opportunity alone is available here, whereas it wasn't in Huntsville.
In Huntsville, yeah, exactly. At least it's a possibility. I do feel like I'm working towards something, and I'm getting better. Like the amount of comics here, there's more bad ones, but there's also a shit ton of good ones.
Yeah, and you have a lot of mentors and people that
can exactly
guide you in the right direction.
And now I have, in Huntsville, I was meeting you guys from Nashville and like Atlanta, and did Indianapolis and stuff, and Alex Price, and but like here, it's like I have a friend from London now, and I feel like I'm more, even though I'm only in Austin, I feel I have friends from the UK and like Massachusetts and fucking
big Massachusetts crowd.
Yeah, dude, there's a lot of Massachusetts guys, and they're mean as shit, and I love them.
Oh wait, never mind, that's Boston.
but there was a kid. There's a comic in town. We're friends now, but straight up, when I was like talking to him, and he goes, "Hey, I don't like you."
Nice.
I was like, all right, brother.
And being from Huntsville, you're like, okay.
Bless your heart.
Yeah. I'll pray for you.
Yeah, it's been an adjustment. Just people are in the Southeast. I think. I mean, it's probably mostly fake, but everybody's just marginally nicer.
Yeah. And
they'll probably talk shit about you behind your back, but like they're really sweet to your face. Maybe I got used to that. But I kind of like I do enjoy. It's refreshing when someone's just completely honest. Like I would rather you be honest with me.
Like, hey, I don't like you. Like, all right, now we know where to start.
Yeah, now we know where to start. And I am sensitive, so it's hard for me to communicate that in relationships too. It's like, hey, I am gonna get my feelings hurt, but please just still be honest with me.
But also, I feel
it's
like
hard to,
in life you're a very kind person. So for somebody like I don't like you, you're like, what?
Yeah.
Hey, why?
So there's that too. I'm so nice to people, and maybe I think I've talked about this too. Is like I'm so nice to people that I put that expectation on. Like I expect them to be just as. They don't have to be just as nice to me, And I think it's taken me a little bit to realize that. It's like nobody owes you shit just because you're nice to them. They don't have they don't have to.
Yeah, but also for someone to be like, I don't like you. You're like, you don't have any reason to not like me.
Yeah, and I think what he told me later, which this is psycho behavior, but he told me later that he was kind of seeing how I would react to that, and I was like, you're a fucking asshole.
Yeah.
Like just
Dude,
trying
I
to
cried.
test me to
I cried every night.
Yeah.
I was sleeping on an air mattress at my lowest point. I just took way too many shrooms.
Yeah. Are you scared of people not liking you ever?
Yeah, I don't know.
I think that's a comic thing.
Yeah, it's got to be because I mean,
You just want everybody to like you all the time.
yeah, I remember. I remember a guy, Will Taylor, in 7th grade. Like, this is how I like. First, I was like, we have the same name, you know, like, like we might be related. And I remember he was like in a different mini school in middle school, and was just like said he like didn't like me to a bunch of people, and it messed with me. I was like, I don't. Nobody's ever not liked me, you know, like which is insane to think, but I always try to be as nice as possible.
Yeah,
to
try to be
people,
as nice as possible.
This dude just didn't like my vibe, I guess. And years later, like in college, he was like, "Hey, I don't know why I didn't like you or why I said that. I'm sorry," you know. And that was a kind like redemption, not redemption, but whatever.
Yeah, gave you some like
moment.
closure on it.
I was like, "So you did like me?"
Thank God.
But yeah, I mean, I don't know.
What scares you? Does anything scare you physically, like the dark or heights?
Crazy enough, socializing.
Yeah, you have
I feel
anxiety.
like that's a boring answer, but yeah.
No, that makes sense.
Medical things like I had like a bunch of medical issues happen back to back, so I suddenly now have a fear of like anytime I have a tweak in my body or anything, I'm just like, ooh.
Okay, let's do the anxiety first, and I would like to talk about the health issues. So, do you have what's the most like what's worst case scenario in a social situation? Have you experienced it? What's like what's the fear?
I don't think my fears ever come true, but there's also been times where like, you know, people are like crushing it and the fear of it got way worse once I got into comedy.
Yeah, because you're
and
around.
stopped drinking as much.
Yeah.
So everybody's like, oh, you know, life gets better when you don't drink as much. I'm like, kind of. I mean, I was crushing it socially when I drank.
Mm-hmm.
And now I'm just like this guy that's everybody else is having, you know, getting lubed up and feeling good. And I'm just slightly buzzed, if ever. And
yeah, I think part of being in your 30s is just figuring out who you are and being cool with it. It's like, you know, I lose shit all the time and I am anxious and I'm trying to just be mindful of those things. It's like, well, why are you mad? You know you lose things. Why are you surprised and mad that you lost this thing? Like, it's like, this is just who you are. It's okay.
Yeah,
you know?
I need to get comfortable with that. I think because it's weird in this field because socializing matters to a certain degree, you know.
It does. The networking matters.
It's even though you want like, but I'm getting better at just like also like I match whatever energy is given to me.
Yeah.
Which I feel like these are all like cliche sayings, but
yeah,
like if you're cool, I'll openly immediately be very cool.
Yeah.
But if you're standoffish, I'm like, all right, well, give this person their space. I don't want to. But I always feel like it's me, even though they might just be in their own world. I'm always like, why did I think I caused that?
So how are you around civilians? How are you around normal people? Less or more anxious?
Like people I don't know, or
oh, good question. I guess you're not. Let's go non-comic friends. You're probably cool around that. It's fun to be the funny person. I like going home to like weddings and shit and being like, which all my friends from home are funny, but I'm the only one like constantly trying to get funnier.
Yeah. And trying to be funny.
Yeah, and constantly swinging.
I'm great. I mean, I've got really good friends. The circle's not as big as it was. You know, you get older and you're like, all right, well, these people have stuck around, and we're all so close now that you know.
And it keeps you grounded to have I like having non-comic friends.
That
was one thing
real.
that I think I needed here. Like I have a friend, which they all take pictures for comedy shows, so it's like they're right around comedies, but it's
comedy
not,
friends and photographer friends.
Yeah, exactly.
It's a good duo.
They're all artists. They're all poor artists. Okay, anything else? Like, how do you feel about spiders or?
Nah, they don't really bother me.
Drowning, the gays. Little holes in
drowning
shit.
Gays?
Whoa,
dude, what is this? Hold on.
Lock the doors.
Yeah, all right. You got me.
What about? Okay, I guess you kind of answered that. I
don't like anything. Like, I guess I don't fear like any. I mean, maybe like a bear. I mean, but
Yeah, bears are
that seems
scary.
pretty righteous at that point.
Yeah, bears will fuck you up. They're so fast.
Yeah,
Bears are
whatever
scary.
that thing going on now is like, would you take the bear or the man? And like,
Yeah,
I would. I mean, it's a different perspective to have because I am a man, but
yeah.
I would take my chances with that guy. That bear's gonna kill me and eat me ass first, which the man might too. I don't know that guy.
But you got to at least you have a fighting chance with the man.
Yeah.
With the bear, you super don't. I do get where
I just have
women
to hope he ate that day.
Yeah.
And he's not like
I get-
territorial.
Yeah, I guess I do get where women are coming from on that because the things that a man could do, I guess, are just a lot more broad than what the bear's gonna do.
Yeah, like psychologically, he can break you down. The bear cannot do that.
Yeah, but you're also counting on the bear just killing you. Like they'll eat you a lot. Like I don't think I mean, best case scenario, it just bites your throat out and you go down.
Yeah, but don't they like slam your back down?
Oh
and
yeah.
break your
I mean, it's
bones
gonna be
and then eat
gnarly.
you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're like. Have you ever seen? Was it The Revenant?
Yeah, exactly. That's a
Such
good depiction.
gnarly scene.
That's when I was like, I'm not taking the bear. I'll take Leonardo DiCaprio in the woods.
And that's a true story, and they
Anytime, baby.
Yeah, yeah. Meet me in the woods, DeCap. He's a listener, actually.
Oh wow, nice.
Yeah, he. They sewed, so he got his back all fucked up, and they
Yeah, 'cause-
sewed something else to his back. Was it like deer skin or something?
Yeah,
Man, that's fucked up. That was a real guy.
yeah. That was a real story.
Okay. Do you have pets?
I did. My family sells their dogs, and Lulu, the loveliest dog in the world.
Do you like that's Fiona's dog?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Do you like cats?
Yeah, I don't mind cats. My roommates before they had 2 cats and they were cool. I don't like everybody. Like if I know the cat, I like it. But if I
Right.
don't, I'm like, because my thing is like if I see a stray dog, I'm like, oh my god, that dog lost its home. But if I see a stray cat, I'm like, that's just a stray cat. Like,
Yeah.
dude roams the street.
I've become more of a cat guy as I've gotten older. I like how indifferent they are. Do you feel like they can? The reason I bring this up, do you feel like they can see spirits? Have you ever seen like a cat look around all weird, or a dog? Dogs don't do it as much. They're kind of. Do you feel like dogs and cats can see shit that we can't, like another dimension, or?
I've never noticed that. No.
Yeah, cats do this thing where they just like look around a room and people say that they can see spirits. And then I
Yeah.
had Kat swatting her on, and she said her bathroom was haunted, and she was in the bathtub, and her dog just like looked up like that, and was just staring and not barking, was just like staring up. It's kind of unsettling, right?
My old grandparents' house. Damn. Okay, so this is another spooky story.
Hell yeah.
Their property was built on like a place where like back during like slavery times or some like a slave was hung on the tree like in their backyard, and you would always like they had a basketball goal and everything out back, and man, I don't know. This kind of feels like a racist story now.
Well, it's in the South.
I'm like just now putting this. Hang on. Like at night, randomly, you would hear like the basketball.
Never heard. It's the first. I'm not joking. Your grandparents have the first evidence ever of a black ghost.
Oh my god!
They're always little white girls and white old women. You never see a
Yeah.
black ghost.
Oh my gosh!
That's so fun.
So yeah, and you would hear like the dogs. The dogs would start barking, and then you would hear
As they do when black
like a
people are around.
basketball bounce.
Sorry. That's so fun.
But it would freak you out because you would hear them like, "Oh my god!" And then like me and my brother would just be like,
Did you hear it?
so yeah.
Yeah.
And I mean, that could have just been my granddad making up some story to scare us in Alabama.
Yeah. They lived in Tuscaloosa?
No, they lived in that was in Moulton.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Lawrence County. Your mom
Yeah.
went to, your mom went to the same place my dad went to high school.
Yeah, Lawrence County Devils,
Hell yeah, brother.
Red Devils.
Growing up in Murfreesboro, it's a pretty chill place, right? You were never like, you said you partied. Have you ever been held at gunpoint or thought you were going to die?
I didn't get held at gunpoint. I got a gun pointed at my head in Memphis. at a gas station, but that was it.
Were you doing shows?
No, I was there at a festival, and we one of our friends we were with like, hey, can you grab some smokes?
Yeah.
So we went to a gas station. They didn't have the ones she was looking for, so we went to another one. They didn't have them, so we went to a third one that just kept getting deeper into like the bad part of Memphis called Memphis. And this guy is getting into an argument with the cashier who's like behind the plexiglass and just pulls out a gun and just starts like tapping it on the thing, talking to him. He's like talking about how he's lucky it's between him or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And the dude's just arguing right back with him. And he's like, get the fuck out. And I'm just like sitting there, just like, I did not react the way I thought I'd be like, I didn't just walk out of here, but I just like froze.
Just froze.
And like he turns around and just like looks straight at him. He goes, "The fuck you looking at?" And like points it right at me. I'm just like, "Oh god!"
Did you look away or what did you?
I mean, I just kind of looked up and out. I was like, I don't even say, "Oh god!" I think it's made like a sound. Just like, and he just starts laughing and just walks out.
Jesus Christ!
And I was just like, "Fuck these cigarettes." But never in Murfreesboro. Fight. I mean, you got in fights and stuff there, but
yeah. Did you fight a lot growing up?
Not a lot, but my older brother did, so I kind of ended up in some of them. And then I had friends that fought, and sometimes I just catch a stray.
Did your brother get in trouble a lot?
When he was younger, before he turned 18, then he never got in trouble. We joined the Marines, and
okay.
I mean, I'm the only one in our family that's been arrested as an adult, and I got arrested twice on like a underage and a public intox.
Okay.
So nothing cool.
Nothing neat. Did you go to jail?
Yeah, I did.
Was
13 hours, 940, dude.
Who was in there? Was that scary? Was that a
Uh,
long 13 hours?
It was very long. Yeah.
Bologna sandwich?
The second time I got arrested, I don't know why or how or if this is legal, and it could just be a lie, but there was a guy in the cell with us that was being transferred like either from Kentucky or up to Kentucky. They like murdered his wife. But I just got arrested for public intox, and I'm in the same place with this guy.
Yeah.
Because the guy that I knew who also got arrested that night that we just kind of knew around town, like was like, "Hey, I know you. You're the guy that killed his wife." And the guy just starts laughing. He's like, "Eh." And I'm just like, "Wait, what?" And yeah, so
That's really funny that you said that.
that was the scariest part where I'm like, all right, well, I'm not sleeping, you know.
Like I like how you addressed him like he was in Game of Thrones or something. It's like, hey, you're that guy that killed his wife.
Yeah, my buddy said, they're like, not even my buddy, but like just an acquaintance that I knew throughout town that just got arrested in a different place that night, said that. And I don't know, the guy could have been lying, but then you like look up the story, and like when I looked up the guy, I was like, that does look exactly like that guy looked. So
That's terrifying. Are you
Yeah.
superstitious? Do you like
more than I want to be? Yeah, I am.
bad luck, walking under ladders, black cats?
I have a big fear of like once good things start happening, and that's probably back to like anxiety.
Yeah.
I have this looming fear of like, all right, something bad is about to happen to like counteract it, but
Yeah.
it doesn't. It never happens.
Yeah.
And then bad things do inevitably happen, and I almost blame it on like this superstitious.
The universe, yeah, for sure. There's always a balance, but the bad comes a good and all that shit. But it is like easy to catastrophize when things are going good. You're like, well, like if I have 3 good sets in a row, I'm like, oh, I'm due a bomb.
Exactly. Yeah.
It's time. It's bomb time.
Yeah, like I have such a good run. I'm like something bad.
Yeah.
I'm about to have a bad set, and then I have like a mid set. I'm like, there it was.
You ever played with a Ouija board?
No.
Would you?
Nah.
Makes sense. If a black cat crosses your path, will you
I
turn
kick
the other
it.
way?
Huh?
Would you?
If it crosses my path, I go. Make friends with the devil.
If you spill salt, do you toss it over your shoulder?
No, I'd probably just pick it up and put it back on the food.
You ever had night terrors or sleep paralysis?
Sleep paralysis I had for a long time.
Did you see
That
a
was
demon?
horrifying. I don't know. Not to the way that people have described it, which is all very similar.
Mm-hmm.
But this is me and my little brother lived together, and for some reason I started having real bad sleep paralysis where like my ears would like flutter and I couldn't move, and I would literally like. It wasn't even like I didn't know what to do. I would just like pray and just be like, Jesus, like please, and then like I would unparalyze, I guess. But it wasn't even like that's just where I went to like be like, all right, maybe this will stop it, and it would help. But this happened for like 2 years. I would just be laying there and then just like be half asleep, half awake, and like come out of like a half sleep.
Yeah.
Just not able to move, and like it would just sound like a flock of birds like flying past my ears, like fluttering. And then I ended up having like sleep It might have just been sleep apnea.
Yeah.
Then I would wake up just like, and
Yeah.
come to find out my little brother's like saying he's like practicing like astral projection next door, and I'm like, am I getting like your runoff demon shit? Like he's like, I'm loving it. I'm in a different plane. I'm living my highest fantasies. I'm like, I'm getting the sleep paralysis demon every night, fucking trying to choke me in my sleep, and you're just getting
your body.
Yeah.
You have a little brother and a big brother?
Yeah, I'm in the middle.
Gotcha. How old's your little brother?
31.
Okay, so you guys are all pretty close.
Yeah, me and the older brother are like a year and a half away apart, and then me and the younger brother are like 5 years apart.
This is, I guess we kind of answered this with the anxiety stuff, but does anything else scare you existentially, like fear of being alone, fear of losing your mind, fear of being unsuccessful?
That's honestly like the fear of like losing loved ones. I have a lot.
Have you lost a lot?
No, I mean I've lost like my grandparents and a few friends, but I think just having like a bunch of close calls kind of put the fear and like the reality of like people aren't going to be around. And I think after my last grandparent passed away, I'm like, oh shit, my parents are in succession to be the next people close to me that go. So yeah, and after having like some medical issues and like stuff like that.
What was do you think you were gonna die with that?
No, I just like I remember like I had like this eye thing happen, and then right after that I had like psoriatic arthritis where like I have to be on like a shot once a month now for the rest of my life.
Oh yeah, or you're gonna be bit in half.
Yeah, I'm just gonna
we talked about
turn
that.
into So when I was 27, like I was driving down the road and I was just like rubbing my eye, and then I realized like I couldn't see the rearview mirror out of like this eye. Like I could see straight, but I couldn't see that, and I was like, oh, I have a blind spot in my eye. So I ended up going to the eye doctor, and they're like, oh, you just have like retinoschisis, which is almost like a detached retina that we can fix it. So I go to a retina specialist, and they're like, no, you have retinitis pigmentosa. And I'm like, all right, well, let's fix that. And then find out it's just like a degenerative eye disease that like slowly takes your peripheral vision and then like your central vision, and you go blind.
So are you going blind eventually?
Eventually, yeah.
Fuck.
So that was
you and Fiona are fucking falling apart.
I know, dude. Together we don't even make one complete person. It's, you guys will see. You'll see real soon. We are Ip and Bip. So that was like kind of like the worst case scenario.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, well, when? They're like, I don't know. It's different for everybody.
Fuck, that sucks. Going
so
blind
now I just have these giant blind spots, and like that's where they are. When I see
your peripheral, you have blind spots?
Up here, it hasn't gotten down here, and it hasn't gotten inside yet, but it's supposed to like take over, and then you have like tunnel vision out of both eyes.
I think this is what my friend, I have a friend in college, his wife has something similar. Like it's just like her peripheral, like I think she might actually have the opposite where she only has peripheral, because I've seen her text like this. So I think like hers goes middle out.
That's way worse.
Yeah, and she, by the time she's like, she's a mom and stuff now. She's probably close to your age, like mid-30s. But she told me when she was a kid, she went through a phase when she found out when she was diagnosed or whatever. She went through you know how like carrots are supposed to help your eyesight?
Mm-hmm.
So when she was a little girl, this is kind of sad but very funny. She went through a phase where she just only ate carrots. Like she ate a fuck ton of carrots because somebody told her that they helped her eyesight, and she knew she was going blind, so she would just eat carrots all the time.
Yeah. It didn't help her eyes, but she did turn into a rabbit. So
She is orange.
she is now a bunny.
Well, that's scary. That sucks.
Yeah, so I got that diagnosis, and then I turned 30, so like 3 years later, and like my body, like joints and stuff, just started hurting.
Yeah.
And you know how everybody's like, hey, after 30, you know, everything hurts. I'm like, that's just what it is. But then, like, I was having to, like, rock myself out of bed.
So much worse.
Because my back was, like, my spine was, like, swollen. And then, like, my knuckle was, like, huge on this hand. And I thought it was, like, jammed my finger, and it just never healed.
Yeah.
So I go to the doctor, and they're like, they do all these blood tests. They're like, oh, you have, like, this, like, very rapid case of psoriatic arthritis. And either you get on this medication that you have to be on for the rest of your life, or you're on disability in like the next 5 years. You'll probably be wheelchair bound.
Damn. Where you is this shot just in the leg?
Leg, stomach. You have to kind of like rotate it every month.
Is it similar to like, it sounds almost like diabetes. Like, is it like a shot like that? Or is
It's like an auto inject pen that I do once a month. It's called a biologic. It's the one, Cosentix was the one that I got on first where it had like that symbol.
Yeah.
And now I'm on, not Trimfy. Some of Taltz. That's what it's called.
Well, fuck.
So, and just that back to back. Now I was like, now every time there's a tinge or something, I have like this latent fear of like, oh, this is something
This is
new
it.
or
Shutting down. Do you ever have like the thing where you get up too fast and your eyesight goes dark for a second and you're like,
Yeah.
I went one time. Not to like,
Dysautonomia.
yeah, not to take away from, that's way scarier. But one time I did go to Memphis in May.
Beale Street.
Yeah, Beale Street. I was like 21. I was drinking all day. It was 1,000 degrees, you know. And we went to the show. We saw one band. It was like Rise Against, and we were waiting to see Cage the Elephant. Mm-hmm. And I remember we moved up closer. We'd been drinking all day, no water.
I was definitely at that same festival, but
Really?
I went to Beale Street Music Festival like 10 years in a row, so
Fuck yeah.
for sure.
So I remember they passed around a blunt, and I smoked that on top of being dehydrated. And you know, when you know, like I said, when you get up too fast, you kind of see stars for a second. I did that, and I blinked, but it didn't go away. Like my eyesight just slowly, and I was standing next to my buddy Miles, and I was like, Miles, I can't see. And he was like, brother, I can tell this guy to move, but I don't know what to do. I was like, nah, brother, my eyes ain't working. Like I cannot see. So they got me out of the crowd. As soon as I got out of the crowd, some guy followed us. He was like, is he okay? He's like, yeah. They thought they were going to take me to the hospital tent or whatever, and we got out of the crowd. As soon as I got out of the crowd, my eyesight started to come back, and then somebody got me a water. And the guy that followed us out was like pissed that I wasn't going. He was like, I thought we were going to the hospital. And Miles was like, motherfucker, we didn't ask you to follow us.
Yeah.
But I thought it concerned me, but not enough to go to the doctor afterwards. I think I was just dehydrated and then got the heart rate sped up from the weed.
Dude, the same thing happened to me. You say weed? Like weed?
Yeah, it was weed
Like
after
marijuana?
being like, yeah.
Dude, the same thing happened to me at Bonnaroo. We were like in the little camp area or whatever, and I smoked, and I was like, I got to go lay down. So I went and laid down and like stood up, and I was high. Mm-hmm. And like as soon as I stood up, it just went same thing.
Yeah.
And like I remember getting down on one knee, and just like touching the ground, just being like, oh my God. And it wasn't coming back.
Yeah.
And like I could hear somebody like walking by. I'm like, is that dude all right? I'm just like, yeah, I'm good, man. Just taking a breather. And it was like probably like 2 or 3 minutes before my sight came back.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's hard to describe to people because they're like, wait, you blacked out? I was like, no, kind of.
I just
but
went
you're
blind.
there. Your eyes just stopped working. It's pretty crazy. And my friend called me. He was like, you went to the doctor, right? And I was like, no.
So you know like that blind fuzzy feeling that comes in? That's what the blind spots are, but they're just like permanently there.
Yeah.
And they don't like close. They're just like
Right, they're
slowly
just there.
creeping in.
Ooh, that's creepy.
That's spooky.
Have you ever seen It Follows? The scary movie? Okay, I recommend that one. It's not.
It's about going blind.
No, it's about a sexually transmitted curse.
Oh.
So there's this monster that just follows you slowly, and
Herpes?
And It is like a metaphor for STDs.
Yeah.
But there's this like monster. It just looks like a person. It can look like someone real, like it's in your life, or just a random person.
Looks
and
like
the way
my
you,
ex. Am I right?
the way you recognize it is your ex just slowly walks towards you, and if she gets to you, you die. And it keeps it pretty vague until like the end what actually happens to you. But it's a curse, and they have to. So at the beginning, this girl goes on a date with like a third date with this guy. She doesn't know much about him. They hook up in her car. He chloroforms her, and then she wakes up. He's got her tied to like like an office chair at the top of a parking deck, and he's like, "Look, you're not gonna understand what I just did to you, but you need to look at what's happening." She looks off the parking deck, and there's just this old woman just looking up at her and slowly walking towards her. He's like, "That's a monster. That's gonna get you. You got to pass this off to someone else. If it gets you, it's gonna get me next." So it's all these kids. They just keep having to pass it along, and like so it's slow, like it's slow, but it constantly is moving towards you.
Yeah.
It's a gnarly movie. It's also very
God, they will make a scary movie about anything.
It is. It might be one of my favorites of the past 10 years.
It's very original.
Yeah, it's very simple. It's very it's unsettling. You feel uncomfortable the whole movie. Like Stanley Kubrick, the dude that did The Shining, was famous
That's
for
so
like,
weird that it's like promoting the spreading of STDs essentially. It's like, hey, you got to go give it to that person over there, or else it's gonna get you.
Yeah, that's what this is your problem now, and
Go make
the
it
way
somebody else's.
you got to go make it someone else's problem to get it off of you.
Pass the buck. Pass the fuck.
Yeah, it's so you don't know what time period. There's a bunch of things in the movie that make it unsettling, and you don't know why. You just feel uncomfortable the whole movie. Like you don't know what time period it's set in. It's supposed to be like modern times, but all the cars, like that old Impala, is what the guy drives at the beginning.
Yeah.
All the cars are old. There's this girl that has a phone that looks futuristic. It's like a clamshell that opens up, and she's got this light.
Of course it is.
One scene they're like one scene they're outside swimming, and then the next scene they're wearing these big jackets walking down the street. Like you don't know what weather it is, you don't know what time period it is, and there's just all these little things in the movie that just make you feel uncomfortable the whole time, and you don't know why.
Huh.
It's highly
Follows?
recommend. Yeah, It Follows. That might be a good one for you. It's not
Yeah, Fiona, you down to
Demon
watch
an
scary
STD movie.
Yeah.
It is fun. Okay, we're gonna wrap it up. I got 2 more questions.
Yeah.
What scares you about yourself?
What scares me about myself? Like physically or like
I don't know. Yeah, wherever you want to go with it. It's a hard question. I should have read it by
is.
you beforehand.
what scares me about myself?
Example, Matt
Probably
Bamore.
shortcomings and
You're just scared of being like,
a failure, maybe.
yeah, but you're doing good. Do you still?
Yeah, 100%. I feel like at any moment it's
It's
just
gonna
be.
stop. I think all comics have that too. That's
Yeah.
why we work so hard. It's just like, well, I'm gonna do this while I can, because pretty
Yeah.
soon people are gonna stop. They're gonna figure out I'm a fraud and stop booking me.
New fear unlocked. No. Yeah, like imposter syndrome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you? Matt Bamore was like scared that he was gonna go too far with a joke and upset
Nah,
someone.
I'm not really worried about that. Yeah. I do have. Yeah, I fear like offending people or like hurting, but only people
Yeah.
close to me. I'm not really worried about people I don't know.
Right. That's good. That's healthy. I think
Yeah.
that's good to be.
Once that dude
conscious of.
said he didn't like me, I got over it.
Right.
Yeah, I was like, all right, you can't please everybody.
We touched on this a little bit. You're religious. Are you afraid to die?
Yeah, in a sense that from a religious stance that like, if I were to die today, I'm probably going to hell. Is how I feel.
Yeah.
Even though I feel like I've been.
Oh,
good,
you feel
but-
like you would go to hell right now if you died?
Yeah, I mean, yeah. If you kind of look at the checklist, you're like, oh, I missed that one. But
I feel like it's got to be more complicated than if that's a thing.
I feel like I'm
it's
in
gotta
like the
be
gray area where it's like, thank God you get that cross tattooed on your arm. Otherwise, sending you down there.
Right.
So, yeah, if I do have a fear of death because right now I'm really enjoying life, and
Yeah. That's been a popular answer is like, not right now. Like, I'm scared to die right now. I have things that I
Yeah.
want to do.
yeah, and like I've got my nephews now, like, and watching
Mm.
them, like I'm gonna miss out on a lot if I die right now.
Yeah.
So I would like to die older and have accomplished things, and I mean, the relationships that I've built have been fantastic. So I'm about half and half. Like, if I die, I know the people I leave behind, I'm not, like, I've given them everything I can as far as, like, love and attention and all that. So I'm not really leaving that behind. But
Yeah.
I would like to stay around and experience more life with them. So.
That makes sense. That's a good answer. That's a bummer to end. I will ask one. This one's dark, but kind of silly. What would be your least ideal way to die?
Wood chipper. It's gotta be feet first. That's not a fun one.
Have you ever seen Tucker and Dale versus Evil? He chucked himself right in the wood chipper.
No, yeah, feet first and the wood chipper would be.
Feet first wood chipper would be fun. Cam Bertrand was like just any embarrassing way. He was like falling and like hitting your neck on a coffee table would suck.
Yeah, like $1 million baby.
Yeah.
You mean the professional boxer? Yeah.
Yeah, I don't want to go out $1 million baby style.
Yeah, on a toilet, like going out Elvis style. I mean, people are like, oh, the guy that died shitting on the toilet.
shitter.
It's like he was also like that generation's greatest musician.
Yeah, but he died on a shitter. Yeah. He died a fat guy on a shitter.
He died ass up off a shitter.
Face up, ass down.
Yeah.
And face
yeah,
down,
as long
ass
as I
up.
don't. There's a comic, Jay Flake, he's like, you don't want to die ass up, or like something like, I can't remember how the joke goes, but it's very funny.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, as far as like that would be the worst way to go, but like embarrassing, I didn't even think about that. Like, I mean, if they're like he died in a wood chipper, that's kind of awesome, actually.
Yeah,
So-
like how the fuck do you, it would like being murdered or something would be scary and suck, but then you like that's a cool way to go out, like a blaze
Yeah.
of glory.
Yeah. Yeah,
I'm gonna
gotta figure out how to die right.
It's a bummer.
No, that was great. That's got me thinking now.
Did you enjoy it? I'm sorry if it.
Yeah,
bugged
no,
you.
absolutely, dude.
I like asking that question's fun. I like asking it last. It's fun getting the comics' reactions to it, as much as like their actual answer. Just like they're like, well, what the fuck? Now, like, just like driving home after this podcast makes me laugh.
Yeah.
Fuck. Well, all right.
All right.
This is gonna come out. It's gonna be a couple weeks. I've got one, maybe the 11th, June 11th. Do you just want to plug like your website or whatever?
Yeah, I don't have a website.
Okay.
But you can find me on Beacons on my Instagram.
Ooh.
Matt Taylor Comedy on social media. I'm touring with Rodney Carrington right now, so your best chance to catch me on a show is going to be opening for Mr. Rodney Carrington. And that's it.
Well, hell yeah. Well, thanks for doing it, man. Thanks for being in Austin. I love you.
Love you too, bud. Brent Reed, you're the man.
Spooky Fun Time.